Anyways, okay, sorry. Hey guys, I know I look like a mess and I could have put a little more effort into like maybe like washing my hair or finding something better to put on. I just decided to stay true to myself, which right now is someone who does not get dressed. But yeah, I wanted this first YouTube video to basically introduce myself and just kind of talk about how I got to where I am. So let's just get started. My name is Chelsea Christensen and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am from Salt Lake City, Utah. I moved here a few years ago from Utah. I'm a full-time photographer that does mostly events, nightlife, and couples and weddings. Moving here 2 years ago and having absolutely no professional career in this field, and moving to a new city where I didn't know anyone, and then now here I am 2 years later and I've been doing it full-time for over a year. I do get a lot of questions because people kind of watch my journey and they wonder how I did this and how I went about it. So that's kind of where I want to go with this video today, but I will tell you the things that I did do that worked. And so maybe that will help someone who's really trying to move forward and do this full-time. Okay, so to talk about how I built my portfolio, how I got clients and things like that, I'll start at the beginning and I'll just make it really quick. I was still living in Salt Lake. I had just gotten a divorce and I also was changing career paths. So I had a lot going on. I was very optimistic. I was very, I can do this. I can make a new life for myself. One of the problems I had after I got a divorce was that I realized that I'd never built a career for myself. And partially it's also because I never had any idea what I wanted to do. I always loved photography, but I just didn't think it was something that I could actually make a career out of and make money. You see people do things like this and you think I'm not them. A few years before that, when my ex-husband and I were traveling a lot, we decided to buy a DSLR. We ended up getting a Canon 80D. So I still had that camera. I had been using it to take travel photos and just, photos when I went hiking and things like that. But then I decided to get into portraits and couples photography and stuff like that, and it's just a whole other animal. And I knew I didn't know what I was doing exactly, so I just started studying other people's photos from Instagram and kind of looking at the things I really liked, their compositions and how everything looked. And so I was like, well, you got to start somewhere. I found some people, a couple to shoot. I found a couple of friends to shoot portraits of and things like that. And wow, those looked like garbage. Yeah, it was fun. And at the time, I didn't realize how bad they looked. Now I look at them and I'm like, whew. But it was fun and it was exciting, and I actually think that sometimes it's more fun when you start in the beginning because you're judging yourself actually less because you don't know actually the technical things you're supposed to be looking for in a photo yet. When you learn those, you get very harsh on yourself and you start critiquing. So I was having a lot of fun with it. I started posting photos, and so I started getting inquiries from friends like, how much do you charge? Can you do this? Can you do that? And so I just started charging, the bare minimum price. I remember my first couples client was my friend Taylor, who I've now shot photos for at least 3 or 4 times. But yeah, oh my gosh, I remember how good I felt after that shoot too, because I had done it. I was so nervous and I just went and did it. And I made money and it was awesome. So number one, I started sharing everything I was doing. And I didn't care or have fear that someone out there was judging me. That is the first and most important thing you have to get over. Because if you're afraid to share your work, even if it sucks, I'm gonna be honest with you, if you're new, if it's your first year in photography, there's a chance your work sucks. That shouldn't stop you. Because someone out there might look at it and be like, I like that. I like that person's eye. I like the way they did this. So you have to start out by shooting people for free. You don't get to just start charging people with no portfolio. if you do that, you're gonna find yourself having a hard time, right? So there's also a fine line of when you stop doing that and when you start charging people. There's a middle ground where you are still charging some people and still doing some for free. And it's all based off of what are you going to get out of it? What is the opportunity for you? And if you don't feel good about something, you're not gonna feel happy taking on the job, and it's actually just gonna ruin the whole industry for you. And you're gonna think that that's how every job is, and it's just not. I do think you should be picky though. Don't just take any old client or anything. Have a say in it. You know, if someone wants photos and you're not charging them, say, okay, but I wanna do them here because I think this backdrop will be best. I want you to wear these colors. So when I first moved to Vegas, I was doing that. Basically, I had no friends and didn't know any people here, but I was following some locals here that had good followings on Instagram and stuff. So what I started doing was reaching out to those people, and I'm like, hey, I'm new in town. I'm a photographer. I don't have a portfolio here locally. I don't have any photos, you know, in any of the spots where photographers here shoot. If I offer you a free photo shoot, you know, would you be willing to tag me and you get the photos for free? So I started doing that with people here in Las Vegas. It's a great way to make friends and build relationships, and then it's a great way to practice as well, because you're in a new scene, you're in a new territory, you don't know what to expect. I would say the next area that I started realizing was that all of the photographers that I was following had a niche. How do you say that word? They all had an area that they were specifically focusing on. Couples, portraits, nightlife, whatever it was. I think that that's amazing, and it's the thing you like doing the most, and you're willing to just go full force with that. It doesn't mean that you don't get the opportunity to shoot other stuff, you know? Just because you only post portraits doesn't mean that couples never hire you, vice versa. I could not figure out which of those things I wanted to do. I had no idea. So I still just kept shooting everything, and I still just kept posting everything, and I actually still do that to this day. I'm sure I might be a little more successful in one area if I had just focused on only one area. But the thing is, I wasn't, and still kind of am not, ready to niche down, and I've somehow made it work for me. The reason I made it work for me is because if there was something I wanted to shoot and learn and I wasn't good at it yet, I gave it my all for a little while. I was dedicated to that one thing, getting better at that one thing, right? So for couples, I was shooting a lot of couples for like a few months, and then I moved to more portraits and lifestyle shoots, and I did that quite a bit. And as soon as I started shooting nightlife, which was my biggest goal, that's the thing I wanted to do the most, I became obsessed. I still, you know, was shooting couples and all of that because that's kind of like the bread and butter of my business. But I could not stop. You can ask my coworkers how obnoxious I was, how many questions I would ask, how much help I would ask for, because I just couldn't settle with not getting it. And they were like, it takes time. Everyone takes a long time to learn nightlife. And to me, I was like, unacceptable. I don't know if I recommend people do that, but that is what I did. I got a little obsessed with each thing at a time, focused on that thing. Once I felt like I had a better understanding of it and there was something else maybe I wanted to move on to, that's kind of what I did. So that takes me to nightlife. I would say that is the thing that I get asked the most. How did I get into it, especially so early in my career and with such big venues? It's two things. I very much lucked out. I got so lucky with a decision that I made, which was to reach out to one of my, he's now my coworker and one of my best friends. And I just reached out to him through Instagram because I knew he shot at some of the venues here that I really, really wanted an opportunity to try out. And I was lucky. He's such a cool person because he wrote me back and he put me in touch with, you know, our boss, and the rest is history. My biggest thing in life is the answer is always no until you ask. Have you ever reached out to these people and said, hey, can I come and try and shoot for free once? Hey, can I please have an opportunity to do this? Part of it also was my approach. I was very, very adamant on this is what I want to do, and I will not quit until I'm good at it. I told that to my boss. I said, this is my dream. Please give me an opportunity. I will try my hardest. If I suck, I will keep trying until I get it. I'm not gonna quit. And that's literally exactly what I did. I sucked. Basically, he just kept letting me have opportunities to keep getting better, because he saw that drive in me. He saw how much I wanted it. As soon as I was good enough that he could put me on the schedule, and I didn't have to keep shadowing people, he started, me small at some of the venues on the nights that maybe weren't such big headliners, things like that, right? Such a great training ground. I just was obsessed with getting better at it, and I kept trying and trying until I was. The other thing I did well is I wanted to be the person that was the most reliable. So it did not matter if it was 10 p.m. and the shift starts at midnight. If he texted me and said, hey, sorry, can you work tonight? I was there every time. It took me 7 months, and I didn't say no to a single shift for the first 7 months. It didn't matter what I had going on, I made it work. So that was very important, was to build that trust in the relationship as well. If you say you want something really bad, I think you need to be ready to prove that. After a few months, you're super tired. It's not as exciting anymore. You're getting used to the venues. You're trying to look for new angles to shoot, things like that. And it's a lot easier after like the newness wears off to kind of blow that opportunity off and say no. And I knew I was gonna regret it the rest of my life, that even if I really needed to sleep and I was so tired, that I was going to do whatever it took to get better and to be reliable. Stop it. Hey, it's really easy to complain when you're tired, when you're worn out, when you're sick of something, when something seems unfair. It's very easy to complain, and I'm not gonna pretend I'm perfect. Even when I'm feeling like a little bit of a brat and I want to complain about something, I look around at my life and I'm like, can you imagine where you'd be right now if you never took a chance? You wouldn't be doing the thing you love the most. You took a chance and just moved to a new city just so that you could build a new career and make new friends, and you did it. And so I'm super grateful for my life. I feel it. And if you don't have that with you and carry that with you in this industry, you're not gonna make it. I'm sure this video is going to be way longer than I intended it to be. And I'm sure I also didn't even cover, I don't know, half the things I get asked all the time. But if there's something that you want to know, please leave it in the comments. If there's enough like of the same type of subject, I'll just make a new video just about that one thing. And that way I can answer everyone's questions. So I hope this helped one person. I don't know. Have a great night. God.